Hey everyone, hope you are having a wonderful day so far. Wanted to record this demo, which I was planning to do it over the last session to show what agents can do with just LLM and what they can do with the power of tools. So let's get started. I have created three agents. The first one I just named it as just LLM, no tools. That means there is only LLM behind this, and then there are no tools provided to this agent. And if I just ask what do you do, it just says that I'm a text summarization assistant because that's the instruction and rule I've given. And I'll quickly show you the code as well in a minute. So let's just quickly get some text from the internet and ask it to summarize. It is taking its sweet time. Yep. So it summarized the text and giving it and the response. If I ask it to add a new employee as part of our employee onboarding agent, let's see what it does. Yeah, it says I'm unable to add a new employee to perform any administrative task. My sole purpose is summarize text. So all it can do is just use its LLM intelligence. It can understand English, natural language. It can process your natural language, summarize text, and answer any questions within the text it provides. It has been given, but it won't do anything else. Now let's look at another tool, another agent, onboarding agent with tools. So let's see what can you do. If you see, it can do the following tasks: onboard a new employee, update an existing employee, and then retrieve employee details. So let's see if it can add a new employee to the database. Oh, let's see. It says I can do that, but what is the employee ID and date of birth? And these are mandatory fields that we have instructed the agent to solicit before it can add the employee record. So let's see. ID is 510 and DOB is 20 Jan 1999. Okay, notice that I did not give a city in this address. So I'll say Jersey City. Okay, so it understood, it got all the data elements that it needs to insert an employee record. So it just went ahead and called this tool called insert one, and then it got a successful response. Let's retrieve the details. Hey, where does Joanne Deere live? So it's trying to use the find one tool and figure out where if it can retrieve that employee record and then giving me the address, and it gave the address. Let's add another employee. I'll just change the name. employee ID is 511 or 550 with date of. So it says employee has been added successfully. Now let's ask another question, like how many employees do I have in total? So it says, I'm sorry, I cannot fulfill this request. I can only look for individual employees, but not the total number of employees. This is because the only tools that it has access to only work with one employee record. Add one employee, update an employee, or retrieve employee details for one employee. Now, let's look at the backend, how this is done. Okay, let me share the code. So here are the three agents. So in my first agent, which says just LLM no tools, if you look at the agent, all it says is there is a model that it has to use. I'm using Gemini model, Gemini Pro. And then if you look at the instructions, all it says is, hey, you are an expert at summarization assistant and you do not have any tools. All you have to do is summarization. But if you look at the other agent, the onboarding agent with tools, I have given three tools for this agent: insert one, update one, and find one. And in the instructions, so in the instructions, I've clearly mentioned that hey, you're HR onboarding assistant and your purpose is to help associates manage employee records. And these are the tasks that you can do. You can onboard a new employee, update, and then retrieve. And you can answer any general questions. But other than that, it can't do anything else. Even if I asked it how many employees I have, it doesn't have a way to find out. Now, let's add a new tool. Okay, so I've just updated the instructions and I go to the agent and I give this tool to get employee summary as well. I'll show you the code what it does. So let me just save this and run the agent again. Now let's look at this agent again. So let me just save this record. So I will ask it to add the employees again, because I'm not actually persisting it in a database. I'm persisting in a in memory in memory location. So let's add another agent, sorry, another employee, and then let's provide that city name that it's looking for. So it added two employees. Now let's ask, how many employees do I have? See, now it's using that new tool that we have provided it. It says total two employees in the system. So now let's look at how those tools look like. So these are just the names of those tools. But what does each tool do internally? So there are multiple ways you can create tools. You can write simple Python functions and decorate it with the function tool attribute. And you can write code to do what you want it to do. And as I mentioned, how does LLM know which tool to use? The LLM reads the doc string that we have given for each of this function tool. So here in the insert one, for insert one tool, I said inserts a single employee document in the in-memory database. The document must contain an employee ID. So this doc string is what helps LLM determine which tool to use for the prompt that we have given. So if you notice, I'm not telling it to use insert one tool or update one tool. I'm just saying, hey, add this employee record. And it understands that, hey, this is the right tool that I need to use for executing this program, for executing this task. So this doc string is very important. And then you can define as many function tools that you want, and execute the action that you wanted to perform. And that's how tools work. And this is just one way of creating these tools. If you have if you have an MCP server which already has those tools defined, you just use those tools here. You just create a client, MCP client, and then mention the tools, uh, and provide it to the agent. And then in your instructions, you can just say, hey, these are the tools that you have available, and you can just use them. Now there is another flavor to it. So here I'm explicitly mentioning that use this tool, call insert one tool, or call the update one tool. But you don't have to do all that. There is another way to do this. So the LLM is intelligent enough to look at the doc string and update that, call that specific tool that you want it to execute. So I have another agent which will discover itself, where I still have all those function tools defined, and this doc string now comes into picture. If you look at this other agent, the instructions just say your these are all the tools that you have access to, and I'm not really mentioning what is the tool name. If you notice, I just said that, hey, you can onboard a new employee, you can update existing record, or